Hey guys, welcome to the Fit2Fire Warrior YouTube. We've seen our podcast, hopefully, and you've seen us bare our souls and have conversations about life and fitness, guns, trauma, you name it. But everybody wants the toys, right? The gear, and the information that we have over our accumulated lifetime. So I want to go over the problem that people face when they're starting out with, like, I want to get into guns, I want to buy a handgun, I want to defend myself, especially with the current climate out there. Things are getting more and more violent all the time. The number one question I've got in my entire career is, what gun should I get? What gun should I buy my wife? What gun should I get for everyday carry? What gun should I get for the range? So I want to start there because I think that's the best place to start, and that's where most people inherently start. And if you've already got your gun and it's all tricked out like some of mine, it's good to hear the basics again to validate why you have your gun. Or maybe you find out, you know what? I do like my EDC, but my everyday carry or my my range gun is, I need to upgrade it. So I think you all can benefit from it too. So let's go ahead and dive in. I don't own a ton of handguns. I'm not like these rich YouTubers, but all of my family members all have a handgun, and I have a couple. So we'll go over some of the pluses and minuses, why one gun might be better for someone and not good for you, etc. So let's start at the bottom. I was never a big 6-hour fan, but when they came out with the P365 series, I was kind of enamored with it. My wife settled on it because she was going to get a Glock 43, Glock 48, picked it up, put it down, said, I don't want it. You can't question that. Number one is ergonomics, right? It's got to fit your hand. It's got to fit your ergonomics of your grip. And it's got to feel comfortable and deem competence from the gun, or you're never going to carry it. You're going to leave it at home, or you're not going to shoot confidently with the gun. So she did see a friend of mine that was working behind the counter, says, hey, why don't you take a look at this? It ended up being this right here, which is the 6-hour P365 XL. The XL is just a little bit longer slide. The grip is the same as the 365. She held it, loved it. So if you see the grip, all these guns are safe. We'll go through each and every one of them, and they are clear. When she was holding it, she immediately took a grip on it, and her little hands fit just nicely and it felt comfortable for her. They wrapped around it, and she just liked it, and she said, that's what I want. Searched high and low and luckily found one. This has been what she's been carrying in the state of Texas on her ever since. Now, drawbacks. It is a small barrel. You think it's not accurate. This gun is amazingly accurate. I can pound 6-inch steel at 70 yards all day with this gun. Obviously, a lot of people can, but that's just an example. Second thing I like is red dot I wasn't a fan of. We've been through a couple of them, but it's got co-witness. You can see through your sights right off the bat. You don't have to buy anything. So I did like it. One of the drawbacks was it does have this awfully small magazine. There's a 10-rounder and a 12-rounder. So 13, 12 in the magazine, one in the pipe. It's also very low capacity for me. California, that's already too much. You guys can only carry like 3 rounds or whatever it is. Anyway, let's go up from there. I really liked my Shadow Systems, basically a Glock 19 clone. I liked it because it was a Glock evolved, had all this tricked out stuff on it from the get-go. But the reality was too big to carry. So I bought the little one that came out. I wasn't a fan of it. It was real snappy. I didn't like the grip of the purchase on the gun. So I ended up shooting my wife's again at a class for concealed carry. And I was like, wow, that gun shoots really well. So I went and looked at what SIG had to offer. I found the SIG X Macro. Granted, this does not look like a SIG X Macro. There's nothing like stock on this gun except the trigger control module with the serial number on it. Everything's been changed out. But started out as SIG Macro. Why did I pick the Macro? It had a little bit larger grip, so you can see now I got a better purchase. Even though it's an aftermarket grip, I got a better purchase on the gun. I was more comfortable, room for my second hand. Secondly, it carries more rounds. It carries, 17 rounds, so 18 rounds total, one in the pipe. I do have an extended magazine. I'll show you maybe the next clip where I can add 3 more. Now it's a 20-round gun. But look how slim it is, right? It's still very concealable. I have a smaller waist, so no matter what I carry, and I want to articulate this to you, not only was it ergonomically good, and it carried a lot of rounds, but it was very slim. So when I'm hiding this under here, I can actually hide it fairly well. Versus what I did have at the time, without even a holster, you can see that it's much more bulky. So this is some of the criteria you should look out for EDC everyday carry versus range guns. We'll have a couple of those in a minute. But the beauty of this one is, again, ergonomic. It fit my hands really, really well. I felt like I could control it, but it had the accuracy and had the upgradability that I liked about my wife's gun. You can see the considerable size difference, right? But in reality, they have the same size barrel. So, and we'll do an episode on just this gun with everything I did to it. We had some sponsors jump on board with it and do some really cool things for it. So we'll go over that on another day. Now, am I going to carry that in battle? Nobody really is in battle, but let's say the stuff hit the fan. I needed to grab something, go and really, really rely on it. I chose the Shadow Systems MR920. Again, it takes Glock 19 magazines. You can tell they're considerably bigger. Obviously, 15 rounds in one. Believe it or not, my macro holds more rounds than this does, but this is like a trash compactor. I can put rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds through it. It will always fire. It's a very accurate gun. You can upgrade it. There's so much you can do to it. Obviously, light, right? It's got a, if some of you will notice that they're in the know, some of you won't. The barrel's been switched out. It does have the Radian ramjet afterburner combination on there. Reduces recoil by up to 40%. And they provided that for this one and the other gun. They're phenomenal. So this is my, I'm going to grab it and go gun, right? But again, ergonomics, the grip's got to feel right. It's got to match. Now, one of my sons got to pick out his own gun. He had a budget, so you can tell it's a budget gun. It's got a holo sight on it. It's got an Olight light. It's got my actual stock Shadow Systems barrel in it now. This is a PSA dagger, Palmetto State Armory. It's basically a Glock 17 clone. The magazines are even a little bit bigger. So this carries 17 rounds, right, versus 15, but the grip is going to be a little larger. He held this one and the Glock 19 clone, and he preferred this one. It just felt better in his hands. And at the end of the day, guys, it's got to feel good in your hands. It's got to be comfortable, but it's got to be reliable and perform well and be a fairly accurate gun. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your money, in my opinion, unless you're just going to go to the range, shoot some cans, have a good time, call it a day, which is fine too. He does have suppressor level sights. They can co-witness with the Holosun. He's got a threaded barrel. Every once in a while, we throw the suppressor on there. He has fun, and everything else is virtually stock. Now, if you want to get into competition shooting, if you really go to the range a lot and you want to work on your performance and you really want to improve your shooting, there are some cheat codes out there. They will cost you dearly. There's some inexpensive versions, $900, $1,000. They go all the way up to $7,500 for a Viper from Terran Tactical. I ran the Springfield Prodigy 2011 for a while. I had to do a lot of modifications to it to get it to shoot anywhere near this gun. I ended up spending about $1,600 total, and I loved it, but it'll never have the reliability of a Staccato. So this is a $4,300 gun minus the optics and the light, but it is built-in compensator, does have the big magazine well. The difference is when you get in this gun for competition range shooting is this right here. It's like butter, very, very little recoil, highly controllable recoil. It's got the 2011 trigger, so instead of swinging like a pendulum, it goes straight back. It's much easier to control, much easier to have a crisp trigger break on it. But the reality is this top piece being the slide, for those that don't know, which is this piece that's just actuated right here, versus the lower, those two pieces are machined from solid steel, and they fit one another perfectly. One person builds this gun. This slide is built and trimmed, so to speak, until it fits the lower, and they're married together and they coexist as one. You cannot take the top off, put on another one. You might get away with it, but it's not going to perform the same. So what happens is high recoil reduction, increased accuracy, increased reliability, etc. So this is my range gun. I'm a huge fan of it. I've kind of wanted one my entire life. So that's what I choose for this. So every gun here has a purpose. People ask me all the time, wow, all this experience and all this range time, all this instruction you've done, you probably own like 30 handguns. I do not. I own an everyday carry, and I built it to be the flattest, most accurate, most concealable, highest capacity gun I could possibly find. I own if the stuff hits the fan, I could do anything in the world to this. It will shoot, and it will be reliable. It could shoot 2,000 rounds. I wouldn't even need to clean it. It would probably operate. And then I own the range gun, competition gun, the cheat code that makes me look like I shoot far better than I actually do, because that's what they do. The Staccato XC, which is simply the XC is just the compensated version. I would love, there's a lot of guns out there I'd like to get, and I like to try, and I like to do more reviews on things and give you more information. These aren't the only guns I've ever owned. I've owned 15, 20 pistols. I started my career carrying the Beretta 92F in the military. I carried the Beretta in LAPD issued. I went to the 4506 stainless steel Smith & Wesson 45, a great gun, I liked it. Then I became a Glock instructor for the department, and I went to the Glock 23, which is a 40 cal. And then when I got out, I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to stay with one caliber, multiple uses, because ammunition also was very hard to get during COVID, which we all know. So every gun on this table is 9mm. My submachine gun's 9mm. My AR-15's AR, and I own a couple more guns. I own a 308 for hunting, and I own a 300 blackout for hog hunting and night vision and stuff like that. So my guns all have a purpose. I have chosen and evolved and built them according to that purpose. So the second thing is, when you ask me, what gun should I get? What is your purpose? Is it a range gun? Is it a plinking fun gun? Is your everyday carry? Are you really going to carry it every day? Are you really going to trust your life to that gun? If you're going to trust your life to that gun, there is no dollar amount on Mother Earth that you can spend that you couldn't justify for that purpose, in my opinion. So don't skimp on it. It used to be a cheap gun was terrible. Now, very inexpensive guns are very, very good guns. My son shoots very well. Obviously, he shoots far better with this gun, but he does extremely well with this gun, and he's happy, and it fit his budget. So again, ergonomics, your budget, what is your mission set with the gun? What is your body structure? Somebody that's a larger statured human being can conceal something like this. Someone like my wife, who's like 5 foot nothing, probably barely gets away with this, and in fact either carries in a fanny pack, a backpack, or something of sorts, which we call off-body carry. And she's not a fan of holstering it because she's got nowhere to put it. So that's pretty much it. I want to get in depth about specific firearms at a later time. We can talk about adding flashlights, adding red dots. A huge thing is red dots. Well, man, I've been shooting iron sights my whole career. Then you're missing the boat. Get a red dot, get a red dot, get a red dot. They're faster, they're more accurate, and they're just flat out better. The only people that disagree are people that just will not do the transition course to do it. My transition course takes 2 to 4 hours, not 8 hours, and my guys are shooting on the button, and their range times and their splits, which is time in between rounds, get faster and faster and faster with the red dot. It's just data is data, it doesn't lie. That's why I use a shot timer. Flashlights, why do I have a flashlight on every gun? Chris, if this is just your range gun and you're not protecting your life and doing CQB with it, why do you have a flashlight? Balance. It gives extra weight to the front of the gun. So when I punch out, I do not have to actually roll my wrist to find the red dot, and I can punch out much faster, much flatter, and it does give it a little extra weight to control recoil to a certain extent. I've always had a flashlight, I'm comfortable with it. So it's not just there for looks and to be cool and fit in with the rest of the other cool kids. It serves a purpose for me. I choose my flashlights for different reasons. Surefire X300 is hard to beat. I switched to this Holosun PID because it was slimmer. I was getting in and out of the holster faster. And I like the fact that you charge it and it's very, very, very bright and it lasts a long time. I also really liked how heavy it was. It's an all metal case. So it weights it again, and it made it a little bit more controllable for me. When it came to the small gun, because you can see I'm not married to any manufacturer, I've got the Streamlight TLR 7 sub because there's very few lights that are made for this gun. This happens to be one of them. It's fairly inexpensive. It's been good. It's nowhere near as bright as the others, but so far it's done the trick. My wife doesn't have a light. One, she doesn't have a holster that will accompany the light. Number two, she hasn't decided she wants a light or cares enough about a light to do so. She shoots phenomenal with it. I'm not going to argue with her, right? Again, it's what she feels comfortable with. Played around with the Olight for a little while, so when I switched back to Surefire X300, I gave the Olight to my son. He likes it, fits his holster. He doesn't have any issues with it. There's no reason for him to upgrade at this point in time. So again, it's budgetary. So as a whole, you can see the difference in what we're talking about, and we'll kind of stair step up. Small everyday carry, a little bit larger everyday carry. What a full-size everyday carry used to look like, you'll see now there's a technology out that's probably a better option. That's pretty self-explanatory. Similar gun, larger grip, a couple more rounds. The big guy staccato, 20 rounds, plus the extended Dawson Precision mag extension, another 3 rounds, it's not that much bigger. So it just puts it in perspective from you guys visually. So what are we trying to accomplish? There's guys with far more expensive guns on YouTube. There's guys with far more gun knowledge than me on YouTube. I just want the beginner to the novice and layman to understand what their options are, guide them a little bit, give them the information, and tell you about the things that I didn't prefer in the past. I've switched lights numerous times for different reasons. I've chose different optics on different guns for different reasons. I've chose different flashlights for different reasons. I've also gone through a lot of things I didn't like. I didn't like the Prodigy trigger at all. When I had my other 2011, I switched to an Atlas trigger, and it made all the difference in the world. This trigger is bone stock. I've never had a problem with it. It's smooth. I like it. I haven't put the money into changing it. SIG has a really clean trigger press, but it's usually really far out there, and there's a lot of trigger travel. Tyrant CNC makes this one. I chose it because it decreased the trigger travel, added the little safety in that's similar to a Glock, and I like the trigger better. My wife just thought it was cool and said she wanted a gold one, right? And then matched the gold end cap on here. So reasons for everything. What she wants, what's important to her, are different than what I want's important to me. What my son wanted in his gun and his budget was different than what I wanted and what I was using it for, and therefore has different parts put on it. So what I want you guys to do is, I'm not going to tell you like and subscribe, do all that stuff. If you like what you do, you inherently will. What I do want you to do is ask questions in the comments. Give us, also, I'm not the foremost expert in the world. Put your experience in the comments. What gun did you like? What part did you like and for what reason? What did you buy your loved one that worked out for them, they enjoyed? There's other guns that didn't make this list because I didn't have them at my disposal today for the show. So please let us know your input. Let us know what you think, and drive some comments and drive some questions. We'd love to engage with y'all. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you next time.